Now, this is just a theory that I had, and I want to see what you think about this. When we talk about the characters and the symbols, I had a theory, or maybe it's out there, and I just haven't done the research or come across it. When sound was projected into certain onto certain plates and the sand on the plates, is that how characters were formed, like the ones that we write now? Is there any basis to that, or am I just
there's definitely a basis to that. There's definitely a basis between that correlation of sound.
So you get what? So basically, when a sound was projected onto the plate, just like with Claudine, his experiments in cymatics, whatever symbol showed up on the sand, I'm asking you, is there any true foundational information, like in history, that was a process where characters were created with sound and plates and sand?
So not only is there a correlation between the example you're given and something in history, but if I can, because I think I've definitely been doing that since we sat down together, I'm going to continue to use these two schools of thought to show, prove, and demonstrate what I'm saying. There's a work produced in our culture called the Sefer Yetzirah, the Book of Formation, otherwise known as the Book of Creation. It's esoterically attributed to Abraham. In chapters 2 through 3 of the book, they speak about the influence that sound had in the formation of all 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet, so that every single letter of the Hebrew alphabet is a derivative of the sounds present as the universe is being spoken into existence. Now watch how that plays a role also in Kemet. Who is the one in ancient Kemet that is attributed, at least in their mythology, as giving the science of writing and language? Jehuti, right? The Necher Jehuti. The Necher Jehuti is the same individual in ancient Kemet who not only produces the science of writing, but even the harmonics of sound. Because the harmonics of sound, on some level, do play a role in the formation of these symbols. But it's only to those who are able to piece together these puzzles that you can see and you can see and validate what your ancestors, again, long been saying, long before modern science is discussing these things. To go a step further, let me show you how this relates to the topic of astrology, something that people don't like to talk about in the Hebrew community as well, because it's considered taboo. So watch this. In ancient astrology, the first mazal, or the first sign, is not regarded as Aries. The first sign is regarded as Libra. Libra being an air sign. So again, to quote the Sefer Yetzirah, it says air from air, water from air, and fire from water. What does that mean? Well, first and foremost, the sign that comes after or follows the air sign of Libra would be the water sign of Scorpio. So that water came from air, or that Scorpio preceded after Libra. Then it says fire from water. Well, what comes after the mazal of Akrav or Scorpio? You have the mazal of Sagittarius, which is fire. All of these things are not teaching you to observe, pay obeisance or worship to astrology, but it's causing you to understand something deeply implicit within the idea of the conception of the universe and the creation of the letters. Because in delving into esoteric thought in terms of how we describe the creation of the letters are said to come first and foremost from air, which is the production of breath or air expelling from our lungs. Then it's said to be a confluence of water. You know, every time you breathe, there is some element of water there. Also fire. You should know that there's a certain fire aspect to the innermost recesses of your body as well. This is all relating to the process of how speech is carved out. The process of how speech is carved out unfolds perfectly as a perfect parallel to the astrological process of all 12 constellations. The air sign of Libra being first, the water sign, my water sign of Scorpio, or Akrav in Hebrew, being second, and then Sagittarius, the fire sign, being third. On a more esoteric level, it's actually showing you the unfolding of speech as well, because speech involves those three modalities. You have to expel air from your lungs. The moment that the air from your lungs leaves your lungs, it encounters what? Moisture or water. That water is fired by what? What keeps your body going and pumping? The heart. What does the heart generate? Heat. So we're talking fire. So on a much deeper level, the very process for the carving out of language, signs, and symbols are also related in the astrological process in understanding how the creation of the world unfolds.